Hello, pet. Now what are you doing all the way out here? You can't get to the castle wall without going outside, and I do believe I forbade you from going outside without your leash, didn't I? Naughty thing. It's alright though. I'm not that strict of a mistress. Did my thralls tell you that I was here? Or did you just happen to wander out to the top of this particular turret? They did they? Well, that was very considerate of them. And of you. Yes, I wouldn't mind the company. Come, sit. No, it's really... That's alright. It's not as though I was avoiding you or anything. There's some things I needed to think about, and this is a good place to do that. I like to come out here every so often to think about everything. And just take a chance to look over my old, fallen kingdom. Oh, it's not as depressing as it sounds. It helps me relive fond memories. Like over there, you see, where the river bends? That's where the town of Riverbend was. Well, the name is not terribly creative, but it's easy to remember. It was an important port for us, and so my parents and I often made trips out there to check on things, make sure things were running smoothly. We even had a little vacation home there, even. It was a bit smaller than what you'd expect for royalty, mostly because we had to choose something upwind from the fish market. It really is a shame. You can't really see much of what's left. In my kingdom, we had always preferred wood over stone. We had a close connection to the forest, you see. We were very good at cutting lumber without disrupting the balance of nature. Most of it has rotted away by now. Return to the forest. Which is how I guess it was meant to be. Oh. You wouldn't be able to see anything either way, would you? Oh, I'm so sorry, Pad. Sometimes I forget that not everyone has perfect night vision. Perhaps we should turn our attention to something that you can see, then. There's always the stars. Do you like the stars? Oh, yes. I love the stars. I'm glad I can still watch them. I do miss the sun, but there's something especially important to me about the night sky. I suppose that, well, the moon might have something to do with it. Do you know the names of any constellations? They'd probably be different from the ones that I know, but... Oh, yes. My kingdom has our own set of constellations that we've named. To our people, walls are special and sacred. There's an old, old story that we would tell each other about how the wolves howl at the night sky to gather the stars together where they can be seen. Where there are no wolves, there are no stars. Yes, because of that, we named our constellations after wolf spirits from our folklore. Like that one, you see? Just a little higher. That one, Silver Eye. Big Dipper. How interesting. I don't... Oh! Oh! I think I see it. What a coincidence. Your people and mine both saw the same set of stars and decided to name them. Fascinating. Silver Eye has always been my favorite. In the stories, he would always appear to people struggling against temptation. He'd help them to find the strength to make the right decision. It was a comforting story. It made me feel secure as a child. Like if I ever found myself losing control, that he would be there to help me. Yes, well, I suppose I had unique concerns as a child because I was, because I was a princess, that is. Moral choices that affect hundreds of people are a part of daily life when you're royalty. It's a shame I don't believe in stories anymore. I think I could use that sense of security now more than ever. That is very sweet. But you're the whole reason that I feel like that. Don't you see? I want both of us to be able to trust that I'm safe. Things would be so much easier if there was some magical being that would just swoop in and stop me if I was ever tempted to do you harm. Even though I insist I would never, ever do that, it would just be proof. Certainly. I'm glad. But it's okay if you're still uncertain about things. It does make me sad to know that you might have doubts about me, but that's not your fault. You're allowed to feel the way that you feel. You don't need to force yourself to change your mind for my comfort. I'm confident that I can win you over all by myself. It's just been so long since since I felt uncertain about anything. Ever since I became a vampire, things have been so repetitive. Not always in a bad way, but things are always the same. I told you before that my vampire half craves control and stability, so that was fine. I started to wonder if vampires even felt uncertainty. But now, I feel uncertain about everything. But it's worth it, just to have you with me. But there is just so much to figure out. I'm starting to wish that I'd tried to reach out to a human being earlier. But then, if I'd done that, I might not have kept you around when you wandered into my lands. I'm glad I have a human to spend time with, but more specifically, I'm glad that I have you to spend time with. I'm even starting to be glad that I was turned into a vampire because it led us to each other in some strange, twisted way. I wish the circumstances surrounding my transformation were different, but other than that, I don't think there's much that I'd change. To tell you the truth, the reason that I came out tonight was to just sift through my feelings. Well, not just that. I'm trying to focus, to prepare. Now that things are so wonderful, I have to deal with the fear that things might change. I don't want anything to come between us. And I need to convince myself that they won't, to prove that I can handle things. Well, there are possibilities. We've overcome some very significant hurdles, to be sure. I fed from you, and I didn't lose control. Nor did you get scared, or run away, or shut yourself off from me. Aside from you being a bit stunned by how things could have gone wrong, I'd say it was the best case scenario. But there are other things. I don't want to burden you with my worries. Let it suffice to say that I don't think it's impossible that you might someday decide to run away after all. Yes, I may have implied that the first feeding was the only thing that we had to worry about. I was so preoccupied with getting past that I didn't consider what other challenges might be standing in the way of the two of us living together. As I said, I don't want to worry you needlessly. You have more than enough to worry about as it is. All you need to know is that I'm going to do my very best to keep you safe, and to help you feel safe around me. I don't want you to ever feel like you need to run away from me. Thank you, sweet pet. Oh, it is comforting to hear you say that. But you don't need to promise that you won't run. As I said, my goal is to make sure you never even want to. The good part of all of this is that one way or another, my worries will be resolved soon. Within the next few days, we'll see whether we were meant to be. And after that, there'll be no more surprises, no more hurdles. I promise. Well, none from me, anyway. I'll tell you about it when the time is right. There are things that I need to do first, though. Once I'm finished, I'll know what preparations you need to take. Please, pet, don't pry further. It's not time yet. No, not... Please don't make that face. I'm serious about this. We have to wait. Listen to me. I told you to leave it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean... It was foolish of me to have this conversation out here where I can see... Never mind. Come here, sweetheart. That's okay. That's my apology. Okay, I promise. It's only because I care about you, and I want you to feel safe. I'll tell you everything in due time. Listen to me, okay? How about I call my thralls to fetch us a blanket, and we can cuddle up next to each other, and we can keep watching the stars tonight. We can stay out all night if that's what you want. You can tell me the names of all the other constellations. That's perfectly alright. Not everyone is an astronomer. I'll tell you all about them then. Just stop me if I start to bore you, okay? I'm glad you came out here to talk with me, pet. Things have been confusing lately, but they're always much clearer when you're nearby. You've reminded me that life is about new experiences, even when they're intimidating. Snuggle up close, pet. Let me enjoy your warmth.